Hi, I'm Tom.
I'm Matty.
And I'm Lewis.
This is the Wigan Way, Wigan's favourite rugby league podcast.
He'll put you in his trap, 'cause he's a union man. He's got it all figured out. He won't care what you think, 'cause he's a northern man. He's allowed to speak his mind. His mind.
The Wigan Way podcast is brought to you by Cherry and White Pins, a local Wigan Warriors themed pin badge company with a variety of Wigan ranges. You can get free shipping on all orders when you use the code THEWIGANWAY, that's The Wigan Way, all in capitals, at checkout. Thanks to them for supporting the show.
So you join us this week on the Wigan Way after a disappointing round 9 to Super League. We lost over in Hull, but before we get into the nitty-gritty, Lewis, you've decided to join us this week. How are you doing, mate?
Yes, I'm back after having a couple of weeks off. I'm doing very well. Just for a bit of transparency for the listeners, I'm still part of the podcast. We've got a new dog in the family, and it's obviously, anyone else knows, it's a bit of a commitment, and she's been keeping us busy for the last 2 weeks. When it's spare time, it's been very hard to come by. But she's doing well, so I'm looking forward to getting back with you lads and having a bit of a chat this week about rugby.
Yeah, we've missed your voice on here, and you've let us go off on tangents without you being here. Matty, how you been, mate?
Yeah, good. Really glad I'm back again for another week. Disappointing loss, as you said before, but we'll dive into it and we'll see how there's some silver linings and some things to look forward to anyway.
Yeah, I think that's the big thing with this game. It was bad. Like, we all agree with that. It wasn't great at all. But at the same time, it's not the end of the world. We're only in round 9 of Super League. We've played a game less than everyone else. Is it 4 points behind the leaders?
We've also played 6 away games.
Played 6 away games.
There's some teams with 4 or 5 home games already, I think.
I think there's one team that played 6. So, a vast amount of games away. We're going to go away to... We've been away to Saints, been away to Hull KR, 2 of the probably most difficult travels for us.
And Lee.
As a club. Lee is a big rivalry. And you know what? We're still World Club challengers. We're still in the semi-finals of the Challenge Cup. It's not doom and gloom in the league. We've lost 4 points. Like, at the end of the day, that's not a major loss.
Well, we lost away at Saints and we lost away at Hull KR. And we did that last year.
Yeah.
And the year before, actually. So every time under Pete, we've lost those 2 games away. So, really, I'm not concerned too much.
We seem to struggle in Hull, don't we?
Yeah, we do.
It's a thing, like, I know, obviously, opening game of last season, we lost away at Hull, but it was the opening game, you can't take much for that. We lost away at Hull FC last season. We then played Hull.
We did win at Hull KR in
Golden.
We did in Golden Point,
that
but
was
it
an
got
unreal comeback, though, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's what I mean. It got really. We don't travel to Hull well, do we? Whether it's FC, whether it's KR, us and travelling to Hull, we just don't seem to have cracked that long journey to the side of Yorkshire, have we?
No. But just to be clear on the situation in the league, that we have to play our rearranged game against Lee. We're 23 points behind on points difference and 2 points in the. So if we can get a win by 24 points or more, we'll be back top of the league in Super League. I really don't think this position is.
Well, and also we're playing more away games than everybody else.
You only have to look at the other sides around us. Saints have obviously lost a couple of games to Catalan, to Warrington.
Salford.
Catalan have lost a couple of games to Huddersfield, to Lee. They lost to Leeds in the Challenge Cup. If I remember, lost to Huddersfield in the Challenge Cup, but
they lost to Leeds.
Leeds and Lee. All the teams around that top point have slipped up in games you probably wouldn't think. Warrington losing to Salford, that we'll dive into later. You wouldn't have expected things like that. Hull KR have slipped up some games against Salford and Catalan and Wire. So we aren't the only team that is slipping up.
Craven Park's a hard place to go, and it has been for the last couple of seasons. It's not your Saints are going to go there, and obviously Wire managed to go there and get a win, but your Saints and your Cals are going to be going there. It's not an easy 2 points like it used to be. Hull KR away is a very hard fixture.
You're 100% right, and just to add to the sort of topsy-turvy division we've got this year, Hull KR have beaten us quite handily in this game. I know it was only ended up 16 points, but it felt like more. Catalan destroyed them last week. Lee destroyed Catalan, and then to close it full circle, we destroyed Lee. So it really is a full circle, a big loop of teams beating each other, which is what you want for the top 6.
Yeah.
And you top 8, I suppose, if you want to include Lee and Huddersfield.
Just outside
NRL's
Yeah.
very similar, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The NRL's becoming very similar like that. You don't. It's getting. I know there's a couple of maybe teams in the NRL you might think are weaker than some, but you're getting some. Canberra's look good, but then Cronulla's battered them this week, and Newcastle I think beat Melbourne, did they? But then they've gone like on a losing for after beating Melbourne. So it happens. It happens in professional sport.
I think it's very easy to come accustomed to winning, and obviously we went on a 15-game winning streak at the end of last year and the start of this one, and then you think you should just win 16 and win 17 and win 18, but them streaks are streaks for a reason.
You can't keep them up.
There's records for a reason, isn't there?
In rugby league, you can't keep it up.
And I don't think any professional sport you will ever get to a point where you just win every week.
You can do undefeated, like in football or cricket or whatever, where you can play for a draw, but
Rugby league, that's not
you
realistic.
can't really
is it?
do that in rugby league. You got to try and win every game, and it's impossible to win every game. And you know what? Something like Craven Park away, when we'll talk about it in a bit, when they've been very clinical, and when we've bombed a few chances and made some horrible defensive mistakes, them are the games you'll lose. Them are the games you lose every year, and you just got to come. You just got to
Bounce back.
You've got to be okay with that. You can't follow a sporting team and think they have to win every week, because it is a disappointment when Wigan lose, because they're expected to win every week. But you have to be okay with it, because if you weren't okay with it, you wouldn't. You're following the wrong sport.
This is the thing as well.
We shouldn't follow sport at all.
Saints fans will be sat there thinking they should win every week. So should Catalans. So should Hull KR, Warrington. Them top 5 will be saying we have to win every game and get as many points as we can. And you're not always going to do that, are you? Someone has to lose a game of rugby.
Yeah.
One point I just wanted to make before I moved on to this. This was only the second time that we've shipped more than 20 points since that Golden Point loss to Wakefield, the 27-26.
Yeah.
The other one was London. As poor as we were defensively, we missed lots of one-on-one tackles and missed that. It looks to me like a blip. We aren't consistently having to score 30 points to win games. It's a bad day at the office, and I think defensively there were some one-on-one errors. Liam Farrell will be very disappointed with a couple of his mistakes. I think it was Kieran for Gildart's try. Got dragged in and left in no man's land.
Yeah.
I think these one-on-one mistakes have sort of got to happen at some point so you can rectify them. You don't want them happening October time when the big games come round.
Yeah, I think that Matty said before, although it was only 16 points, it felt maybe a bit worse than it was on the scoreboard. But I think that's because we saw a lot of things in that game that wasn't Wigan. Hiku's try, we conceded from our own half. Wigan don't concede tries when from the team's own half. That isn't Wigan, is it? You're all right. They might concede a point for pulling a nice move on. The winger goes over in the corner or something like that.
Like the Hall try.
Yeah.
You can understand conceding the Hall try.
Yeah. But to go through us in our own half, and with that's the bit with the Sue try.
Early on in the game.
Barging over one-on-one. That they're not tries Wigan concede. So I think everyone were looking, going, and again, like you said earlier on in the game, some people were looking, going, what is going on? This isn't Wigan. And I think that's why it probably felt a lot worse.
But I can live with that if it's a one-off.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
and that's
so can I.
And this result will soon be forgotten about if we go to Thursday
To beat Catalan.
beat Catalan. We put a good defensive performance in, and let's say we win convincingly. Suddenly, this is past you because you just beat the team that are in second in the league.
Yeah, and every time this sort of thing has happened, we have bounced back quite well. We usually do bounce back quite well, and we have a better defensive performance. So
I feel like we've been quite lucky in the fact recently that we've had a game that we can bounce back against, because you could very easily play a London the week after a result like this, where you would win pretty much if you played poorly or well. I think this is a good challenge for us now of how strong we are mentally, how strong we are physically, and can we bounce back?
And deal with the same, and to sort of to shift the the focus from defence to attack there. In that second half, it felt like we were cutting them open every single time.
Mm.
They obviously settled into a bit of a defensive pattern, a bit like Huddersfield did the night before, where they weren't really getting in our half, and we were just throwing stuff at them. And those big shift plays did seem to be working, but we bombed some tries.
Yeah.
And I remember 2 or 3 bomb tries were, if you cross over with them, you're going level.
Yeah, momentum.
And the momentum's
changes.
gone right with you. Whereas, I don't think they bombed any.
No.
They were so good at finishing. But then
Even when Tanganawa gave himself up
I know.
for a knock-on, he still managed to
still
score.
scored. And on another day, that's just called a knock-on straight away. And on another day, the pass to Hall isn't perfect, or Sue drops that ball when he's crashing into it. They were so good close to our line.
Yeah.
But you can't be that every week.
No.
They were really good. They were at their best, I would say, clinical in the first half. And they took a couple of chances in the second. But they took their chances, whereas we didn't. And to say it was a 3 tries between them, I reckon we probably bombed 3 tries.
Well, Thompson could have had one, couldn't he? That was a kick he couldn't pick up, and he just dropped over.
When we
the
went
line.
through and
Lehman went through.
Lehman went through and he had
And didn't
Field
give
on
it to
his
the,
shoulder. Yeah.
field, and like that was a story you were telling about when you were playing Lewis. You were always the one inside trying to race through, and I remember we had one where we could have passed inside to Farrell, and the pass was a bit off.
Yeah, from Marshall back on the inside.
Tanguy always try. That's a chance for Wigan to score,
Yeah.
and all of a sudden it's a try at the other end. So things could have been very different.
I don't think an awful lot has to change in this game.
No,
similar-
attack wise,
Yeah.
I'm not too disappointed because we did cut them open
And-
5 or 6 times. We just didn't take our chances.
I just want to mention a positive that I thought, personally. Obviously, Fields had a couple of weeks off, been rested. It's been it's not been hidden that he's been playing a little bit busted with a little bit of damage to his ribs. And the way that he attacked from that first catch.
He came into the game second half really well,
Yeah,
didn't he?
in the second half he seemed to take it by bad scruff of his neck, scruff of the neck, whatever the term is. I've messed that up, but he looked a little bit more confident. Looked like he wasn't as sore. He was flying up on the inside for the Lehman break. He just looked a yard fitter, a yard whatever. And I've seen a bit of criticism about us resting players. But we've had an incredibly difficult point, and we comment on how deep this squad is and how good the squad is. You can only put 17 players out there, and if you want to keep them all fit, you're going to have to rotate them. I'm looking at like the likes of Harvey Hill, who didn't play. He was the 18th man. He'll be really disappointed not to have played. It creates that competition.
Yeah, no, it does. Yeah, I agree with you, Tom. I was very impressed. It felt like he come out after. I can imagine what half time would have been like in those sheds. Wigan would have come in, there would have been people, what on earth is going on? What, they would have been questioning and doing whatever, and everyone would have been quite angry, frustrated at the performances, whatever, and how this game was going. And it looked like Phil just come out and just went, right, pass me that ball.
Yeah.
Watch me change this for my team.
That's good to see.
And he was just poking he didn't get away, but he was poking his nose, so he were beating people one-on-one. Every time he just got on the edge of your seat going, oh, and someone just got hold of him, you know what I mean? But he looked like he went, right, watch me get this ball and change this game for my team now.
I've got a question for you. Do you think that would have been the Wigan dressing room? Or do you think Matty Pete would have been quite calm?
I don't know if Pete were giving him a spray, but I think players might have been going in frustrated.
Very frustrated.
Yeah.
They would have been frustrated.
But I just thought...
I think that's credit to Hull KR though. They played that first half perfect.
Yeah.
And yeah, I do think they settled into defence too early in the second, and it could have bitten them if we'd have taken a couple more chances. But the way they played that first half for a big game was absolutely perfect.
Yeah, definitely.
And if you're Willie Peters, you've got to think, right, that was absolutely perfect, that boys. Next time we play against St Helens, we have to do the same thing. And it's a big test for them because teams historically do not play well after beating Wigan. They just don't.
How well do you think Hull KR played? Is that the best they can play, or do you think they've got another gear?
First half was the best they can play, but second half they led us back into it by being conservative. But I can see why they did it.
No, I can fully
I can
see why they did
100% get behind why they did it, because obviously it was game management, wasn't it?
Mm.
It really did work.
It's that question of now, obviously, we're looking forward 4 or 5 weeks to the semi-final.
Mm.
We've obviously got to play Hull KR. Matty Pete's team talk is done already, doesn't need to say anything.
Yeah, but you'd think the bounce of the ball would go with a bit more of swing in our favour.
But what I was trying to get at is Wigan will not perform that poorly. And I don't believe Hull KR can play better than they did in that first 40. I think they were near on their best.
They were brilliant.
And to say that we lost that first half 18 points to 0
Mm.
is a massive positive to us. Or it's a massive positive to me as well. I walked away from the game going, I'm not worried, I'm not whatever. We can't play that badly again.
No. Blips happen, like I say, it's a blip. Look at Catalan in Magic Weekend last season, but then we go away to Catalan and nil them.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like you said, Matt, it's topsy-turvy season. It's what it's going to be. Like you said, I agree with you there, Tom. I don't think that will be our worst performance of the season, I think. I'd be very surprised if we play like we did in that.
Yeah.
Especially the first half. The first half of that game will be our worst
think
performance
so.
this season.
That's it. And as we said, like, this performance will be forgotten if the result's right next week.
Well, I'm telling you now, Farrell, you mentioned Farrell, and I don't mean to pick on Farrell, the whole team I don't think was on point as a team, but you mentioned Farrell made a couple of individual errors, which we all know we do, but I'll tell you now, as soon as that full-time whistle went, he'd have been shaking those Hull KR players' hands going, I won't play Catalan tomorrow. He'd been walking off that field going, I want to play. The next game it needs to come quick, I want to play again tomorrow and I want to rectify it. So,
Because we've got that sort of team, haven't we?
yeah, we have.
Well, we want to go and put it right on Thursday.
Yeah, that mentality.
And it'll show us if we do, then, it'll prove a lot of people wrong, but then it'll prove a lot of people right who do believe in this side.
Yeah.
A couple of things to quickly mention. A bit more minutes for Mike Cooper. A bit longer.
Yeah,
Showing his fitness. Ethan Havard was back off the bench.
Yeah.
he was.
I thought he looked strong.
I thought he looked strong. I thought
Yeah.
he looked confident in himself, in his body. Obviously, after that first tackle, I think the first one's always nervous when you come back from
I'm
an
sure
injury.
he was
isn't it?
very nervous to take that first drive in.
But immediately, you could see that little shimmy that he has just in front of the line. Get onto a defender's shoulder and land on his front and get us a quick play of the ball.
I'm excited to see what he adds to the team.
Yeah.
Because if he's firing, is he our best prop? I know Thompson's been fantastic, but I think if he's firing, Havard's certainly my favourite of the props. He'd be the one, if we had a big game tomorrow,
If
he'd be first
everyone's
in for me.
See, if everyone's fit, Thompson and Havard are my first two picks at prop.
I think you're probably right there.
Well, I was going to mention is Liam Burns back next week
Yeah,
from his ban.
Byrne will be back, so...
So not only are we talking between Thompson, Dupree, Cooper, Havard, Mago, Harvey Hill wasn't selected.
Harvey Hill's not lost this season.
Liam Byrne has got to be
You have to feel
mentioned.
aggrieved to Harvey not to be picked for this game, although he might have just been rotation. You need lots of rotation in your props, don't you?
Yeah.
I can see Harvey Hill be back in on Thursday,
I could see Harvey Hill back in on Thursday,
but then
but I don't know who for.
but Byrne might be back in on Thursday as well.
Yeah.
So maybe it's Mago's turn to have rest, or I don't know.
This is the thing, and I've said it to you guys multiple times. I trust Matty Peake to pick the right team.
Yeah.
And he'll be looking. He won't just be looking to win next week. He'll be looking 4 or 5 weeks in advance. Obviously, main focus is Thursday.
Beat Catalan, yeah.
And got to beat Catalan. But he'll have a plan of who needs a break, who has these minutes coming up, because we all know about the new rules that are coming into place next year. Is it next year or the year after with the minutes that players
No,
can
this
play?
year. Because that's why Brad O'Neill didn't play against Cass,
Because of the minutes.
because of the minute rule. And for forwards, it's more strict.
Mm.
There's only so many minutes you can be on the field in a season.
So,
For your props, that'll be alright, because they don't play a whole game. Unless you have any 80-minute props, which we don't tend to.
Thompson does a lot of minutes. But obviously with Havard back, means that he's another player who could play 60 minutes.
Yeah. And obviously his count will be low because he's not played so far.
And Mago, last few weeks, has done a lot of minutes. Not traditionally a big minute player.
We scored our second try off the back of Mago excellent work from Mago.
Yeah.
With a nice carry. Who would have been impressing you? Did anyone impress you in this game? I'm looking for man of the match points because they have to be just from Wigan for us.
Yeah.
If we're giving 3-2-1, just from Wigan players for us. I know a lot of people were impressed with Nsemba again. With the ball, I thought he was fantastic.
I think one of the things that stood out for me, this is nothing against Junior Nsemba, because this is the game, part of the game that he has to learn. But I think the defensive work that Willie Isa does on that right side.
Yeah. I'm just not 100% sure French trusts him inside as much as he trusts Willie. Yeah.
But that's down
anyway.
to a partnership, and time will tell that. I think the amount of players that Willie Isa closes down before they even develop, just through his work rate of getting up defensively. And I don't think he has the metres that an Nsemba can make. I don't think he can take the carries that Nsemba can carry.
I'll be really interested when Walters is fit, what happens with Walters. Very exciting player, Sam Walters.
Yeah.
Another option to play down the middle.
And I don't know what they're going to do with him, but I'm excited to see it. Whatever it is, I'm excited to see it.
Yeah. To answer your question though, Matty, Field would get some.
Yeah, I was going to
Points to
say
make.
Field
Jay
second
Field,
half,
yeah.
looked like he was back on it.
Jay.
I thought he did well. I thought Leamy, when he come on, he made a couple of breaks trying to run from 9. I thought he tried to do. You know, he was trying to make something happen for us, I thought.
Well, while you mentioned it, I've just thought of something that really, it is a bugbear, man. A couple of times he got caught on the last, on the tackle before the last, and it meant that someone like a Thompson had to go in at 9.
Mago did it once. Didn't
Yeah.
he?
Mago
Oh,
did it
throw the
once.
ball to Smith.
And then that first pass from 9, from dummy half to our first receiver is just a little bit sloppy,
Yeah.
and it just took a little bit of time out there. I don't mind it occasionally, but I don't want to see that happening 3-4 times in a game like we did this game. That'd be my one criticism with Lehman.
The reverse of that is that actually he's a bit of a threat when he runs from 9, as you just mentioned though, Lewis, and he will attract defenders and perhaps get a quick play of the ball.
Yeah, but we just have to be set up for it. We have to know who's going to go in at first receiver.
Yeah.
If Smith, French and Field are setting up a play for the last tackle, it might not be the right time for him to go. And I think we've just got to find that balance of when's right to go, when's the time to relax. I think that wraps up our review of
Wigan?
Wigan and Hull KR.
Yeah.
Not the end of the world.
No. Like I said,
Definitely
blips happen. Blips
Definitely not.
happen.
It's April.
We'll put it right on Thursday. I'm sure we'll get back to, like you say, especially defensively.
Yeah.
We'll look to tidy up defensively and be harder to break down. And you know, we're going to always build off the back of good defence, don't we? It's defend first, and then you let your Fields and your Frenches and play off the back of good defence. So
I was actually looking today, and we've got the best attack in the league by quite some distance.
yeah.
Even though we said our attack hasn't really clicked.
And Saints have got the best defence. So there you go.
Right. We'll take a quick break there and we'll be back to talk about the rest of Super League. Thank you. So we start our deep dive into Rugby League, Super League's Round 9 on Thursday over in St Helens. A 13-12 win over the Huddersfield Giants. Tries for Saints were from Makinson and Clark. Percival kicking 2 goals. Nguama and Swift both scoring a try for Huddersfield, and Jake Connor kicking 2 goals. Drop goal from Johnny Lomax. What do we make of the game, lads?
I was so annoyed that Saints got over the line here.
Yeah.
I know they were... Huddersfield just cost themselves. They went in at 12-6, having dominated,
Yeah.
and Saints could only score with an interception.
It should have been
18-0.
18-0.
And then they just decide, well, 6 points is enough of a lead, which it isn't against anybody.
No.
But they decided 6 points is enough of a lead. Let's just not try and get out of our own half. Let's make the most mistake-free half of rugby I've ever seen. And they did.
Trust the process.
But it was wrong. And Saints are going to score. And it was just so inevitable. And I'm surprised they only scored once, to be fair.
Well, they got away with a no try from the video ref. And
Yeah.
at that point, I thought the warning sign should have been there for Huddersfield.
When
We've
Blake-
got to start playing.
Blake went full on Ryan Erkins and dropped that ball.
But at that point, to me, I went, that's got to be the warning sign. They've had a chance now. They're going to get another. we've got to start trying to play, we've got to try and get more points on. I wouldn't have even been against omitting an early drop goal to get it to 2 tries. You know,
I don't think they got in position.
That's the point. I don't think
They were
they
never
ever
there.
got in the play.
And Saints, you know, they get one chance, it gets charged down. They get another chance and he slots it, and it was a great drop goal, to be fair.
A great drop goal under pressure because obviously
Yeah.
the ref didn't give back to 6.
No, which he didn't for us in the semi-final last year, did he?
No.
Same deal, same problem.
Can I start slagging off Jake Connor now?
Yeah.
Oh my word, what is he doing? That Clark's try, and he does it, and this isn't just the one where...
This
You'll
is the
be
one where he's
frustrated.
been caught out.
Yeah, because he does it every single... We watched him when Huddersfield came to DW, didn't we? Obviously, we sit next to each other, and every single tackle is in the FC. He's looking at the ref, his arms are in the air, he's trying to run the game. You're thinking, just do your job.
Yeah.
Like, all right, Clark, he's having a bit of words. Connor's doing what he's doing, getting under his skin. Clark gives him a tap on the chin, saying, yeah, good luck, fella. Then he starts, he's just hit me ref, he's hit me ref, he's hit me ref. Clark gets up. As there's one marker, Clark's running every day of the week when there's only one marker that close to, if there's not two in it, you know he's going to pick it up and go. He scores a try. Connor's going over waving his arms about. It's like, just get back in the line and do your job.
Exactly.
What are you doing? You've
It's
just
cost his
lost
side.
your side the
There's
game.
one thing that sums this game, that moment up. It's the exact reason he won't get picked for England.
Yeah.
It's the exact reason no one from the NRL will look at him.
No.
Because you can't do that. You can have the mind games and whatever, but you have to be able
Yeah,
to
it's
just do the right thing at the right time, and that should take you that annoyance, that being the annoying, being the one everyone hates, should take you to the next level.
it's
Once
tough,
you
isn't
do-
it?
once
Because it's that sort of thing that makes Jake Connor. But you can't do it when it's at the detriment to your side. And you know what? Darryl Clark did him. Clark's too smart for that. He outthought him. He made a mistake, Connor, and Clark was patting him on the head, and I thought, that's one to watch there, because those two, Clark's really clever,
Clark's a very good rugby
and
brain.
he might wind Connor up here, and you know what? Exactly that happened. Connor lost his head in a crucial moment, and it was fitting that it was Clark that got the try.
I just... It's the part of the game that we've mentioned Harry Newman needs to get out. Jake Connor has had enough time to know now. Harry Newman's a young lad. He's 23. Jake Connor's been around the block.
You think about somebody like Sam Tompkins,
Yeah.
or Jack Wellesby, fullbacks who are,
Annoying.
they get
They're in your
the
face.
annoying accusation thrown at them. They get that sort of tag thrown. The gamesmen, get under people's skins, that sort of thing. Get themselves going. Neither one of them's ever doing this.
No.
They are defending that line to within an inch of their lives every single time. You saw Wellesby when James Harrison was running at him.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. But I don't know. I don't know. Ian Watson, you don't really get much from him, do you, in terms of what he's going... He does that with Sean Wayne as coach. If Wayne is pulling into one side and having a word, don't you?
Yeah.
Is Watson strong enough to do that? Is he going to do that and risk upsetting Jake Connor?
Forget have a word with him.
I
Forget
don't
have a
know.
word with
Well, yeah, you know what I mean.
They dragged him off.
Yeah, that's what I mean. But what I'm saying is, in Huddersfield, does a Luke Yates, as that a bit of a leader in that team, bit of an enforcer,
Chris
driving
Hill.
in the sheds at
Who's the
full
leader in that
time?
team?
Well, this is the thing. This is what I'm saying.
They've missed Hill, haven't they?
Who
Chris
steps
Hill.
up, grabs Connor, and says, not necessarily, but just lets him know and just says, look, when we do that, you're back in that line. I don't care if he slap you, I don't care if he's punch you, I don't care.
Go and moan to him when the ball goes out of play and say, listen, ref, he slapped me before, just keep an eye on it for me.
When they try another crash ball.
Story time.
Sam Tompkins, Jack Wellesby, all the great full-backs that wind people up, did it. As soon as the ball went out to play, they were there at the ref. They didn't do it while the game was going on.
Well, story time, we're talking about Sean Wayne and like we're comparing him. Listen to podcast he did with, it's High Performance Podcast,
Yeah.
I think.
Oh, yeah. Come for it.
He says, talking about not full-back, Nicky McAloran, he says, right, rule of thumb, when you're defending for Wigan, he went, the only time you're not allowed to defend and stay down, if we're defending our trans, if you've got a compound fracture, the bone is coming out the skin. Playing a game, Nicky McAloran, I think he's done something to his ankle, a foot or something like that, whatever. Gets back his that defence, comes off at full time, takes his boots off, blooming foot swelled up like a balloon. Wayne he goes to him, why didn't you just go down, Mickey? Because you told me, unless I had a compound fracture, my bone was sticking out my skin, I won't go down. And he felt like, that's the mentality you need to have, not, wanting to ref when you're defending your try line.
For a bit of slap and tickle.
Yeah, that's it, yeah. It's ridiculous.
Before we move on from this, we saw the other side of Connor, the side that I really don't like, is you watch how Tompkins Wellesby defend. There was a play about 65 minutes, I think it was just before they scored, Saints, and they make a play to the left-hand side, and Connor never made an attempt to get across. He just jogged, stopped at the post, and then stood there with his head on his hands. And you look at what other fullbacks do, the top fullbacks, they are throwing everything to get across. They are giving every part of their body to try and impact a tackle and stop a try. And Connor didn't put that effort in.
This game, to me, highlighted a different problem, and it's one that we have as a league that we've spoken about before. What was the name? What was the Huddersfield player who had to go off with the head test? Was it English?
Yeah,
Matty English.
And he got up.
He was hit in the head, and I'm sure it was a shoulder charge, but we only saw a replay once. And he got straight back up and he tried to carry on, and eventually he had to come off for a head test. If he stays down there, I'm convinced there would have been some further action to James Bell.
Yeah.
And this is not a Huddersfield against Saints.
At least a penalty.
This is me saying, at this point in the league, the ref isn't interested unless you stay down injured. And so sometimes, like with Percival in the Good Friday game, you're actually injured. You have actually got to go off because you're injured. But sometimes these players, they're going to go down when they're not injured. You're just advertising.
But the rules are actively encouraging it.
Exactly.
If the ref had said, that's English, it's high, whatever, I'm not going to card it, but it's at least a penalty, and you've stayed up, players think, well, I'm going to get a penalty if I try and stay on my feet anyway. It's a penalty, irrespective of whether the player goes down or not.
Yeah.
And that's the difference. Right, can we jump over to Friday?
Yeah.
2 games were on at the same time. First one, over at Castleford. After a difficult start to the season, it was Castleford versus London. And Castleford got off to a flyer, 30 points to 0. Debuts for
Tex Hoy. Second
Rowan,
game for Lewis Senior.
Yeah, Rowan Mills again in the halves again with Jacob Miller, and it was 30 points to 0 at half time, 40 points to 0 to London.
To full time, you mean?
At full time, and I think that just shows.
London aren't beating anybody 40 points to 0.
Yeah, I messed that bit up.
Beat St Pat's 40 points to 0, I don't think.
But I just think that shows how far ahead them two are of London. We talked about whether Cass and Hull FC were in a relegation battle, as we would used to say. I really don't think they are.
No, they're not. No.
No, I think. And I feel sorry for London.
We spoke about London enough.
Yeah.
You've not recruited, have they? They've not spent any money. They know they're going down at the end of this year, whether they win the treble or win no games at all.
Cass, it was nice to feel that there was a little bit of a feel-good factor, I thought.
The feel-good factor at Cass.
Well, to get the 0.
Winning a home game to 0.
Yeah.
Will always
That'd
help.
be a big thing, because anybody could score a try, couldn't they, off like a little kick in behind or something like that. And
Yeah.
for
You
stuff
just
like
drop a
have the
ball on
0.
your own line. Things happen.
Yeah. So if I have the 0, I think that'll please the coach the most.
Yeah. Right, Lee versus Catalan. 30 points to 2.
Yeah.
It was 6 points to 2 at half time. Artemorg, obviously, I can't remember if the hooter was like 3 seconds to go or something like that.
It was 6-2, yeah. It was 6-0 and then he kicked it right there.
Yeah,
right there,
as the hooter went, he kicked a penalty.
Charnley scored. Guess who else but Charnley scored a try in the first half?
Yeah, but tries for Charnley, O'Donnell, Hanley, O'Donnell again, and then Matt Moylan. 5 goals from Matt Moylan. That is a massive, massive statement from Lee.
It was going to happen.
John Asiata back.
It was
that
going
will
to
have brought some energy.
It was going to click at some point because they've been playing well recently in defeat. Ever since they played against us.
Well, we mentioned that if they'd have lost, they would have been behind Castleford on the leaderboard. They weren't ever a part of the 2-point
No.
group. It was just unfortunate the teams that they'd played.
They
so
were great. They were good against Warrington.
Yeah.
They were okay in the cup against Hull KR. You just felt like a decent performance was coming. I didn't think it was going to be against Catalan.
And if it was, I didn't think it was going to be 30 points
No,
to 2.
no.
That's the thing that's going to please Aidan. I know we just said the same thing about
2
Cass.
points,
Obviously,
yeah.
only conceding the penalty against Cass. We know Lee can attack. They've got nice shape when they put especially when they shift it from right to left.
Yeah.
We know they can look nice and have bodies in motion. But the big question will be, Lee, can you back up with defence? Because defence is what's going to win you trophies. You know, attack will win you games, but defence will win you trophies. Keeping a team like Catalan trialless, just letting them kick penalties. Obviously, you're showing you've got something about your defence.
And now some team is going to go on to 6 points because it's Lee against Castleford this week.
At Castleford. I think it's at Castleford.
Is it?
Yeah.
No, it's at Lee.
Oh, was it at Lee? Ooh.
Sports Village.
Makes our game a little bit more interesting now as well. Catalan will be disappointed. They've had that's a poor performance from them.
Yeah.
The 25, I want to say 25 minutes after the second half was extremely poor from Catalan. To concede so many points so quickly after half time. Steve McNamara will not be happy. But
They had a couple, hadn't they? Because they got a bit of a battering in the cup. Was it off Huddersfield as well? And then obviously they took a bit of a battering off Lee. So it could turn sour pretty quick, that, with a couple of bad performances and bad scorelines against them. And there might be a bit of what's going on here. They might have to get themselves out of a rut. I back them for turning it around.
They've had injuries, haven't they? And obviously they're getting Nicarima back.
Well, I spoke about it last week, didn't I? I said a bit of a left field shout for if it goes wrong for McNamara this year. Could end up at one of the 2 open jobs that we think they'll be.
You're right though, Tom. It does make Thursday a lot more juicy. With obviously Wigan wanting to come back after a disappointing performance against Hull KR, Catalan wanting to come back after disappointing against Lee. There's all to play for them too.
Don't mind theirs is more disappointing. Think about it.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Scoring for a try.
But both coaches will be saying the exact same thing though.
Yeah.
You got the perfect game next week.
What a chance to. Yeah, exactly.
And it makes it even better that the other one's got to prove a point.
Somebody's going to be on a streak, of losing streak.
Yeah.
Somebody's going to get back.
Someone's going to lose back-to-back games, isn't
Yeah.
Yeah. That wrapped up Friday. Saturday, Salford hosted Warrington. It was 11 points to 10 due to a Mark Sneed drop goal to Salford. It went on to be 17 points to 12. Tim Laffey and Mellor got the tries. Ryan Brealey got a penalty try. Harrison and Williams get tries. Ratchford kicking 2 goals. Quickly, before we get into it, the young half-back at Warrington. Very similar injury to...
Hayes.
Very similar injury to
Willie Isa.
A very bad leg break. I thought he had a very good start to the season.
Yeah, he's
I've been really
well.
impressed with him. But especially, I'll be honest, I was worried about his size the first time I saw him. I thought he was a bit small, but he's really stood up and he's kept Drinkwater out the side, hasn't he? So that says enough.
So I'm a bit unsure what's going to Warrington, but is Drinkwater still at Warrington?
He is.
Yeah.
He
He's
is.
not being selected.
The conversation last week was that he was available for loan.
Right, okay.
But I would imagine after this injury to Leon Hayes, which will be a long time.
Yeah.
He'll be back after Rice, that you would expect.
Well, that you think Drinkwater will have to be used.
Yeah.
Not a bad replacement to have.
No,
The only other thing they could do is potentially play Ratchford in the halves.
Ratchford in the halves, yeah.
Where they've had a little bit of strength in the centres.
Didn't they play Danny Walker there last year?
That was under the Powell banter stage.
Yeah.
That's when he just sort of give up and everything just went wrong from that point on.
Danny Walker and Powell are doing a good job as tandem
Yeah.
nines. So
And they're doing it the opposite way I would have expected. I would have thought Sam Powell would have been the starting 9.
No.
Um,
He didn't give away that penalty try though. That was Walker's fault.
Yeah.
Well, he was going to score anyway, wasn't he, Braley? So
leads to a try.
what can he do?
Massive result for Salford.
Yeah, big win for Salford.
Imagine saying to Salford in your first 9 games you'd play Wigan, Saints and Wire and come away with 2 out of 3 wins in them.
Yeah.
So it was Saints at Salford's ground as well? Or did Salford beat them at Saints?
I can't remember.
Just trying to think, a bit like we just saying Hull KR is a bit of a tricky place to go.
Salford's
Is that
just-
turning into...
the AJ Bell.
Should do.
Is it still called the AJ Bell? It's,
No,
is
it's
it something different? I can't remember what it's called.
Salford Community Stadium.
Well, is that becoming a bit of a fortress, a bit like Craven Park? Is it a bit
No,
tricky
it was
for
at
teams to go?
Saints.
Oh,
It was at Saints they beat them, so...
I would like Salford to become a bit of a fortress. There shouldn't be anywhere, apart from the teams right at the bottom. There shouldn't be anywhere where you think, right, this is an easy 2 points.
Yeah,
when you
away
play,
from
when
home.
you play away from home.
Yeah.
And
100%.
I'm just going to mention this. if you look at Salford now, they're currently sat in 6th on 12 points. The worst points difference of all them teams on 12, because Wigan, Warrington, Hull KR and Salford are all on 12. Obviously, we've got a game in hand. But they slipped up against Cass.
They did.
They'll be really disappointed with
They
going
did.
to Cass and losing.
If they'd have won that game, and you know, they nearly beat us.
They'd be third in the league.
They nearly beat Leeds. They could have been really, really high up there.
If they beat Cass, the third in the league,
Hmm.
behind on points difference, and not to put blame on him, but if Mark Snead doesn't go short, there's every chance that they're on 16 points from 9 games.
Yeah.
Where their only defeat was a close one to Leeds.
First game of the season.
First game of the season, was that?
Brilliant that when you think about it from Salford and a squad that everyone thought was very, very thin,
Very light, yeah.
very light. What a way to be.
Yeah, yeah.
Just a quick one on Warrington before we move on. Do you think this is just a little bit of fatigue? They've had a few big weeks, beat Leeds away from home, Saints in the cup, then a close one against Leeds. Do you think this is just a little bit of fatigue and a little bit of...
Maybe. They had the miracle play last week against Leeds, didn't they? Kind of used it up, and I don't know. I want to give credit to Salford.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
they were brilliant. Right, last game was Sunday. Hull FC versus the Leeds Rhinos. Wow.
It's a shame this was Sunday
Yeah.
because this should have been one of them what was on at the same time as Wigan, so we didn't have to watch it.
Yeah.
Because I sat down to watch this thinking, oh, this could be a good game, this Leeds and Hull FC. Historically, it's a good game. Leeds
Need to prove a point.
Leeds need to prove a point. Hull FC got the new coach,
New
got
coach
to put
effect.
up a fight. They did put up a bit of a fight, but
Well,
these two teams had so
not-
many errors in them.
I'm not proud to say this, but that is actually the first game of rugby league I've fallen asleep watching. I fell asleep on the couch watching it.
Well, I was out with friends from work on the Leeds and Cass game that was 0-0 at half time, and that was still way more entertaining than this.
Yeah. Could Hull FC hit the number 50 for the squad numbers? They were up to 45 with the loan signings of Ed Chamberlain and what was his name?
Yusuf Aidin.
Yusuf Aidin.
Well, when we signed Bevan French with about 8 weeks to go in the season, he was 42 at the end of the season.
But I don't think we'd used 40 and 41, had we?
We probably had. We'd probably give it to somebody who used one game or whatever. Singleton was 38. I remember when he came mid-season, he was 38. Dupree last year, 34, was
Yeah.
it? 50 is such a high
But-
number.
but-
But they gave 40 out straight away, and we all said, oh, they'll never play. But actually, they have been doing it. Number 40, Jack Charles, has been playing every week.
To be fair, I was quite impressed with. But
He's really raw, isn't he? Like,
yeah, he's really, really raw.
He made plenty of mistakes, which he's going to. But he's 18, playing at
A very struggling club. He's
standoff
not. He's
for a
not.
bad side. Yeah.
He's not playing at a Catalans or a Saints or doing what Leon Hayes was at Warrington, where
He's
you've
come
got a
onto a
decent
side,
squad.
yeah. I was impressed with Jack Walker.
Yeah.
I thought
I thought it was very strange they moved him to the wing.
Yeah, it was. He's a good signing for them, I think, Jack Walker. But they just needed a few more smart signings, and they didn't make them. And we spoke about how they've chosen to spend their money before. And you know, you can say, well, it's smart because they're an A-grade club and they're going to be guaranteed in Super League. But I'm sure if you were a Hull fan, you wouldn't be thinking that.
No, not at
You'd
all.
be expecting much better.
Yeah.
One thing I wanted to mention is we just talked about Jake Connor in quite a bit of detail and his effort levels and his antics. One player who quite impressed me with his work ethic, Lockie Miller, made a lot of big carries towards the back end of that game when Leeds were struggling to hold on. Just go back and have a look at that. I think 4 or 5 times he took 2 carries in a set. Obviously, a very young back line with the Lewis Roberts and
Lum on debut.
on
Riley
debut.
Lum.
What a try, by the way.
Oh, yeah, great try.
But I thought that's where you look at a star full back. You know what? He's just realised that something's up and needed to do it.
And they lost Momorowski as well with injury, which is...
Another big loss.
He was playing quite well, so he's a big loss for them. Hanley and Newman might be back next week, I was hearing.
They could do with it.
They
They
need
could
him.
really, really do with some injuries, some signings back. Some players back, should I say, not signings.
What about all the talk for Rowan Smith to lose his job? They've just won.
Yeah, it's
It's like beating London, though, isn't it?
If
There's nothing special in that win, is there? You're not looking at Leeds going, oh yeah, they fixed it. They're not just going to beat Wigan or Saints. They beat Hull FC, who are using squad number 45, have sold the best full-back in Tex Hoy, lost New Brown. Danny Alton played in the halves for however long.
Is he the only international they've got, New Brian? Or was he the only international they've got?
Like, we're not talking about a side here that is a top six. They've not beat Salford.
No.
They've not beat
Huddersfield.
They've
Mid-table side.
If they'd beat a mid-table side, you could go, or someone around them, you could go, well, he's bought himself some time with a close win.
So is it justified then that Rowan Smith is
Under pressure. I thought he was under pressure at the start.
Well, we said he was. We said it was him and
but
Tony Smith, wasn't it?
They've got London next. So,
yeah, you can't sack him before London.
So what are you going to say? If he wins that,
I don't think any pressure comes off him.
He'll win that, won't he? He'll beat London. But then, how do you then treat him? Do you say, well, he's beaten Hull and London?
Well,
he's earned some.
You know what? He's got 2 games after that. Catalans away, Saints away, and I don't think the results in them matter. I think the performance and the effort levels matter.
So the next 3 games, you need to put in 3 good performances.
They're a bit like the Man United, the Super League leads at the minute, aren't they? Under and Ron Smith's a bit like
Ten
Hag.
Hag. I like it.
Do you know what I mean? Like they're going throwing money at players for trying and get them over, but Ten Hag's been criticised. It's a bit like Aston Rowan Smith. I know we've said this before. Like, there's no real style. They're not like a Saints or a Wigan that back the defence and grind you down and win on defence. They're not like a Hull under Tony Smith where they just plow the ball around the short dropouts. They just play eyes up all the time. There's no real kind of what does a Rowan Smith. But Ian Watson, you go, they're going to be pragmatic. They're going to complete sets, complete high, very low kind of boring, but low risk. Low risk.
Then give it to Jake.
And let Jake Connor cost you game. But then, like,
it's a pound in the jar, that, by the way, Lewis, because you said eyes up.
Sorry, I know you don't like Tom Eyes at rugby, but what does a Rowan Smith team play like? Do you know what I mean? And I think that's what they're a bit like the United of
the
Super League. Yeah.
That's the only consistent pattern that I can see from
Do you know
Leeds.
what best example of that? And people are not going to like this. Ash Hanley's try the season contender. Because don't get me wrong, it's a
brilliant
great
when it
try
comes up.
that Croft gets the ball, but the fact that he's putting in a crossfield kick, if I can get my teeth in, within his own 20 metres.
I wasn't even thinking about that one.
I was thinking of the one where he
launched it. One where they play against Salford and he launched it on his own line.
Well, yeah, that's well. There's 2 there. I'm thinking of the kick.
Yeah,
but he's cheating the game. They don't roll the sleeves up and do the hard work. It's right. How can we get out of it here for a little kick in?
I ask myself, what do people say if it goes wrong? The risk with the pass, Hanley drops it, bounces away for him. Someone picks it up. Salford score, win the game.
Yeah. Salford probably top.
Yeah. The crossfield kick, it kicks on, it bounces, kicks on,
goes in touch.
He drops the ball.
OKR score.
OKR catch it. I don't know.
Wrong. Yeah.
But every risk to that is Hull KR either get good ball or score.
Yeah.
Salford get good ball or score.
But your reward is Leeds scored twice. So you want to weigh up the risk and reward.
If someone scores or they concede.
So that is not a way to play rugby league. Unless you're losing.
We score or they score.
Unless you're losing, that's not the way to play, is it?
No.
Sam Tompkins said it a couple of weeks ago in his punditry. He said best teams are predictable.
Yeah.
You know how they're going to play.
Right,
you know what they're going to do. They're the teams that win grand finals. You know, a Saints or Wigan come to town, what you're going to get from them. Defence. And they'll give it to the superstars, your Frenchies, your Fields, your Wellesbys, for make something happen.
Which seems strange because, like, the captain to me, Cam Smith, sort of embodies what everything you'd want a loose forward to be.
Yeah.
So,
but they've got the players. They've got Brodie Croft, one man of steel. Andy Ackers, England international, Alexi.
Rhys Martin,
yeah.
Matty loves.
Rhys Martin's a quality player. Matt Frawley. Matt Frawley's coming in for some stick. He's probably the only person who's getting more stick than Rowan.
But this is the point, though. They want to bring Jack Sinfield in, and what they're going to do? Bring him into a team that's losing.
Yeah.
That's not great.
You're setting him up to fail.
He can play against.
Might as well send Jack Sinfield on loan to somebody in the Championship who's mid-table.
But let's say they put him in now and he plays against London He learns nothing by playing against London, does he? And then goes and plays against Saints in Catalan, where they get butchered more than likely. And he's getting run over by.
How can we be talking like this about Leeds?
But go to Catalan
This is
and
Le-
have Tariq Sims running over the top of him,
Well, yeah.
and then go to
Get
Saints.
Curtis Sirenen next.
Curtis Sirenen or Sione Matati running over him.
I know the point you're making.
That-
But you think Matt Frawley's making those tackles?
No, but at least he's a 31-year-old bloke who's been there and done it and knows what he should be
But
doing.
he's got to play because they bought him as well. You can't go and buy an Australia and go, oh, stop it, throw Jackson Field, the kid in there. Like, what you want about? You can't do that. You bought him, he's got to play.
No. Right, I'm going to move us on because I feel like I could have a breakdown talking about Leeds.
Yeah.
I'm so glad I don't have to sit at that Western Terrace.
It's a good place to watch rugby, but the side's not really playing like it at the minute. So.
In fact, before I know I said we were going to move on, but I'm just going to mention something. You mentioned it 4 weeks ago, Lewis.
Some memory, that's
Steel trap.
Headingley
Oh yeah.
is now definitely an easier place to go to than it is for Leeds. I think it's hard. If you're a Leeds player, I think you want to play away from home at the moment.
I think Craven Park's becoming the new Headingley.
You reckon?
I think when we've always, one of the things we always ask you on predictions,
Brutus
innit?
is always biggest one. But
Where-
the second biggest is Craven Park.
Yeah,
Yeah.
where's it being played on? It said, is it at Headingley? Leeds at Headingley, Leeds. It was
Yeah,
always an hard
yeah,
place to
yeah.
go, and I think a lot of teams now will be going to Leeds and going, actually, you know what, we're going to Headingley, but we can do these. We can turn them over.
If we can get 10-0 up, 14-0
Yeah,
up.
crowd goes a bit sour and
Yeah,
silent,
yeah,
or actually
yeah.
starts turning and booing on the players, and it's a very tough place for Leeds to be at. Like you
Yeah.
said then, Tom, I agree with you. I think a lot of these would actually rather be away from them.
Right, we're going to move on.
Mm.
It is 9 rounds in,
Yes.
and obviously 27 rounds, so we're going to do this at 3 points. Round 9, round 18, and then just before the playoffs, a team of the season so far. We've put our 1 to 17 together for the team of the season so far.
We have.
I'll go through it, and then in sections we'll talk about some people who are unlucky to miss out. So, fullback.
Oh, wait.
Oh, we should mention we've not
Yeah.
put
No Wigan players.
Yeah,
No
we've
Wigan
said
players.
no Wigan players. Just it's got to be from other teams.
All from other team. The other 11.
Yeah. Fullback, Matt Duffy.
Yes,
Yeah, I think Matt Duffy's...
I think he's having a good
choice.
season. I think Burgess has done well with him. He said he
Yeah.
wants to get him involved in the game more, get his hands on the ball more, and you can see that he's scoring a lot more tries, setting up more tries, looks more dangerous. So I think Burgess has done well with him.
Evalds has been good. Morg's been good, but I
Right.
think Duffy's been the best.
Morg, For me, Morg's not played enough games.
Yeah, he missed a few games in there. but-
Evalds side off at full, on the wing.
On wing, did he?
Yeah.
Or Evalds.
Yeah, I think Duffy's the best choice.
I think Briley
yeah, Briley's been good.
is potentially in there with a shout as an honourable mention.
He's been good.
The 2 wingers, statistically, the 2
Top try scorers.
top try scorers, could think of the word then, Adam Swift and Innes Senior.
Yeah. Well, Marshall's got the same as senior.
Yeah.
And there's somebody else got 9 as well.
Hanley.
I don't know.
But
Maybe
obviously we've not picked Ash Hanley due to the fact he's had an injury, missed 3 games, 4 games.
Yeah, I think this one probably picks itself. Senior's come out of nowhere last month and been incredible. And finished everything. That game against Salford, he was on fire.
Yeah.
Swift, signing of the season for me.
Definitely.
Signing of the season, non-Wigan player. But we knew that when Hull were letting him go, and we spoke about why, it was because he was moving closer to home.
Yeah.
And, with the new baby on the way, we said that. But it was, for Hull FC, they couldn't really do anything. But for Huddersfield,
It's a great sign.
they were the benefiting side, weren't they?
You know who should have signed him?
St Helens. They definitely should.
Yeah.
But I think they were a bit too proud to, and maybe the money wasn't right. I don't know.
Yeah.
But Huddersfield have well, I don't want to say looked out because obviously they've signed him, they've paid for him, they've got what they paid for. But yeah, they've done well out of it. Huddersfield. We're getting Swift.
Yeah. Right. 2 centres. Nene McDonald, Kevin Aguama. Couple of honourable mentions here.
They're club mates.
Masters, Lafay.
Yeah.
We mentioned Reece Martin, obviously, but played a bit in the second row, so I don't think you can put him in at centre or second row. He has missed out of this squad. But it's quite a strong area, really, that you can pick from.
I think Hiku's been good.
Hickory's been good, but
Hickory's
obviously
been
started
good.
at full back and was round 3 or 4 before he got moved to the centres.
Toby King's been decent.
Toby King's been decent. Half-back partnership, Mikey Lewis, Mark Sneed.
Yeah, picked itself, I think.
Picked itself.
Yes, Sneed's been amazing for Salford this season so far.
Yeah,
And
Mikey
obviously
Lewis has
Lewis,
been
just being Mikey
creative
Lewis, yeah, Mikey Lewis.
Our two props was a little bit difficult this.
We struggled with props, didn't we?
Been
Yeah.
a few injuries.
With the props.
Like Walmsley has picked up a couple of things. Props being injured across the league. Banned as well across the league.
Amon was injured as wasn't, and
Yeah,
Mulhern,
Mulhern
who were great last year.
Mulhern was great last year, but has been.
And we've gone for two that have probably been the fittest. James Harrison and Paul Vaughan.
Two excellent props who've
Yeah.
been brilliant this year.
Yeah. Now, I want to do the 9, but I'm going to spoil the bench a little bit because we've picked 2 9s, one on the bench, one starting, and it's the old wire partnership of Danny Walker and Darryl Clark.
Yeah.
We've edged Darryl Clark onto the bench.
I don't think it really
I
matters.
don't think it really matters. I think, but 2 very, very well performing 9s.
Yeah.
There's lots of honourable mentions there. Parcell, Jez Litton,
Liam Horn.
Ackers.
Ackers has got for a lot of tackles, yeah.
Right, onto the second rows. Again, a little bit difficult. No real standout second
Ever since
rows.
Chris McQueen retired, there's
Yeah.
never been a standout second row.
And Kane Lynette.
Kane Lynette, yeah.
Of Lee, Kai O'Donnell,
Yeah.
Hull KR, James Batchelor. 2 very steady players, play big minutes. James Batchelor can kick goals if you need. Maybe not very well, but he's another option. And rounding off at 13, I think a standout player in the lead side, Cam Smith.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cam
I think
Smith,
that's very,
definitely.
very, very strong.
We should have got round the no Wigan players loophole by putting in Harvey Makin.
Oh, I like it. Don't shout at us. Obviously, we didn't mention Elliot Minchella. He's on the bench.
Yeah, he's on the bench for us. Minchella's been fantastic, hasn't
Darryl Clark, we mentioned, was on the bench. Another Saints player, Sione Metaltia.
he?
Played 2 varied positions, second row, and he has played up in the props.
Yeah.
Done
Does
very
play
well.
centre as well.
Played centre in a couple of games.
He can do it all, I think.
Been very, very impressive, and his utility gives a lot of options off the bench. And over at Catalan's, Mike McMeekin.
Yeah. Probably hasn't got the plaudits he deserves because he's got such high standards for his play.
Yeah, I think he's just done his job.
He's been solid and he's been good, and usually he's amazing. So
I think we struggle with props. I think it's hard prop unless you go watching them every week and you see how many drives, the minutes, how many tackles they're making, sort of thing. I think it's hard with props. You can't really just say, they scored a lot of tries, we've had a lot of try assists or whatever. Cause
And again,
prop,
the more
that's not the job
rotated,
they do. The more rotated,
the more likely to pick up 1-2
There's some
game
who are more
bans.
60-minute props. Then you've got the Sonys at Leeds, which is like impact props who are good at being impact props, but you won't pick them in a team of the season. You know what I mean? So you've got all that stuff as well, so it can be quite tricky.
It's very difficult.
it's a weird one. I'm just throwing this on you now because, and this is not to do this week, but there was a nice thing for Adrian Morley this week. He got into the Warrington Hall of Fame.
Nice.
And I wonder if we did a Super League Hall of Fame, who would be the first pick? It's a good question. You'd have to pick a few, wouldn't you? You have to do a few in at the same time.
JD Peacock.
JP.
Maguire.
Yeah, I think it would have to be some of them Leeds players would have to go in.
Maguire would be in top try.
Tompkins would have to go in straight away.
It's really interesting.
It would be good, though. Yeah, I'd
Yeah.
love to do that Super League Hall of Fame.
Super League
That'd be
Hall of
really
Fame
good,
would
yeah,
be
if I
good,
think
wouldn't
about who you'd put in. That could be something we do for a future episode.
And obviously,
Who would
like-
your first 10 players be? We pick 10 players going to the Hall of
They
Fame.
always talk about in the NFL, they go, he's a future Hall of Fame player. Somebody like Ryan Hall, for example.
Yeah, it would be
Ryan
a
Hall's
future Hall of
definitely-
Fame.
You say, he's a future Hall of Famer. He's definitely going to be in the Hall of
Here's
Fame.
what, you know what? When you mentioned that, it's Josh Charnley.
I think he probably is. Not as much as Ryan Hall, because Ryan Hall had all the titles to go with it. But I do think Charnley he's going to end up second, isn't he, when he retires, we think.
Well, he might overtake Hall.
Maybe he'll overtake Hall, although...
Hall's got a few years on him. Charlie's still playing at League. Signed
Yeah.
for next year as well.
Maybe.
I mean, you think he had his seasons in Union as well.
Yeah.
That's the thing you forget sometimes about Charnley. You forget he actually took the break from the Super League and he's still up there for those tries scoring. You'd think someone with that one,
Hall did he 18 months or two?
He did time in Australia, didn't he, with the Roosters?
Yeah.
Well, he didn't score any tries there, really.
No, I don't think he did, actually. I don't think he scored one, you know.
Did a
Which is
Rubik's
weird,
Cube.
that, isn't it?
No, he
He did do a Rubik's Cube for Sam
did a
Ryder.
Rubik's Cube. He'd got dropped for Matty Cavallo, and Matty Cavallo scored 5 tries in that game. You think
Right.
Hall would have finished all them off, but, you know, just the way it
Right.
goes.
That wraps up our Super League section, I think. Anything else
Yeah.
to mention?
No.
I don't think so. Just
No.
get in touch with us on the socials. Let us know. Did we miss anybody out on that?
Yeah, I'll
Team
knock-
of the season
I'll
so
knock
far.
together a team of the season graphic or something.
Yeah, let us
Yeah.
know what your team of the season would be. If anybody we missed out, maybe you underrated players who were going under the radar.
They always get some interactions, them, don't they? Like that Exiles one I did. 60 people telling me I'm wrong.
Don't just
What,
tell
the
us you're
Exiles
wrong.
team?
Don't just say you're wrong. Tell us who you'd pick instead and who you'd drop.
Oh, they told us who would pick instead, you know. But
I want to know who you'd drop.
But it's opinion, isn't it?
it's all
That's the
opinion
thing.
based.
It's all
and it's
opinion.
a fake team.
Right.
Matt
Well,
Fowler
uh,
won't get it.
Matt Frawley. Yeah.
He won't get it.
Somebody did say that. Said you've forgotten Tex Hoy. Yeah.
Well, going off his cast form,
Oh yeah, electric.
no points conceded. Best defensive fullback in the league at Cass.
Right, let's.
We'll wrap that up and we'll be back very shortly. Thank you. So, quickly before we go into some predictions of round 10 of Super League, we always mention it, the NRL. Round 8 over there. The Bulldogs were on a bye, much needed for them after a lot of injuries. But Desi's boys...
Too much wrestling. Someone else did that, you know,
I
Lewis.
thought you
Yeah,
said-
but he's come out and said he was happy with it. He said he's all right going through wrestling.
It was
He's
brilliant.
not suing.
The first thing I got on, what was it you said? Was it Saturday? Was it Saturday morning? The story.
I can't remember.
I saw in the WhatsApp group you put Lewis. You're very happy. They've done it again. They've made someone wrestle every other person.
I think they've said
And the
to
picture
someone,
they used was just Nathan Cleary punching someone in the face. So that was a punishment at Penrith. Was you spun a wheel and one of them was getting punched in the face, and so Nathan Cleary
Yeah, they did
punched someone in the face with boxing gloves.
They did a full thing, didn't they? What really is it like in an NRL club?
Terrible,
What's that?
terrible. Doesn't seem like a Super League club. They're a bit naughty, aren't they?
Well, maybe that's why they're better than us.
That's
why
why
they
they
trade
trade
toughness.
toughness. Put some boxing gloves on the back of the hip, smack you up with it for training, and you will like it.
What was it that we used to do? Make people dye their hair blonde.
Yeah, there was. I think that was the story about Wigan. Actually, you had a choice. You either had to clean the toilets, or get your hair the peroxide blonde, and everybody used to just go for the peroxide blonde hair. So we just that's why loads of
I wouldn't
people
want to
come
clean
out
a
with
changing room
peroxide.
toilet.
Yeah, but it's
That's what I
obvious then if you've got the peroxide look that you definitely will late for
And
training.
that's it. So that was it. It was like a name and shame tactic.
You wouldn't do it again. Right, Desi's boys managed to get a win over the Warriors, 27-24.
Yeah,
Struggling, the Warriors.
Yeah,
Couple
they
of
are,
losses
yeah.
back to back.
this
But
one was at home as well, which is unusual for them.
Anzac Day, the Roosters versus the Dragons.
Oh, that was on Anzac Day as well.
Yeah, sorry, yeah, it was. My mistake. But the Roosters put 60 points to 18. Wasn't expecting that from the Roosters. I didn't think they had so many points in them.
Sam Walker got 20 odd of them, didn't he?
Yeah.
Sam Walker ran the show
Yes, he
for the
did.
Roosters in this game. There was a clip they showed on Facebook on the NRL thing. It was just like 2.5 minutes of Sam Walker with the ball on a string, and it just showed him kicking all the conversions.
Not our
putting the
mate
kicks
Sam
in,
Walker,
whatever.
the one for the Roosters.
No, not our mate, who's definitely not playing half back for the Sydney Roosters.
No.
Another Sam Walker.
But in that, they just announced Kiri retiring.
Yes, he's
Yes,
retiring,
they have, yeah.
Kiri. Excellent career.
It's reported they're going to have over $4 million to spend.
Yeah, so Kiri is finishing.
No Tupu,
Jared Warrior-Hargreaves, Tupu,
Angus Crichton,
yeah.
all not signed on 500, 600 and 600 grand.
They're going
And
to
then
have some serious money to spend.
Suoli was on 750. Manu was on $800,000.
Yeah.
Serious war chest, that to go and make some
They've
big
got
signings.
a proper war chest. I don't know who they're going to sign.
No, I don't, but plenty of options.
Or dip back in for Latrell. Oh, how good would that be?
Right,
Would you take him at the minute?
Oh, I don't know.
you
What
have
of aggro about him at South
I don't know.
Does he need a new club to go back to Sydney?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Who knows?
Maybe, I don't know.
right, the Storm versus the Rabbits.
Mark going for Matt Frawley.
Yeah, spend all your money on Matt Frawley.
That's what Leeds did.
Right, the Storm versus the Rabbits.
No joke, they should get Wellesby and play him centre.
Mm.
That's a good shout.
I think that'd be a good
That'd be
signing.
a good shout. That, but Wellesby at centre would be unbelievable for them.
A real drubbing by the Storms, but there's something we've got to mention.
Storm against the Rabbits.
Yeah, Milnes, what are you doing?
Tamé Milne, this isn't.
You're losing.
Not Rowan Milne.
Not Rowan Milnes.
Tamé Milne.
You're losing by 34 points. There's 7 seconds left. You're involved in a 4-man tackle on probably Australia's main number 6, Cam Munster.
Yeah.
Why you would decide to drop off the tackle and just spear at the leg?
This was so naughty.
This is so bad.
I can't believe he did this. 6 seconds left. I cannot believe he did.
And I don't think he got a ban.
His only hit. We didn't even speak about the bans for Super League, by the way. No bans, no charges. First time in history. But I can't believe he did that. When there was
so
no
annoying.
intent there apart from to injure Cam Munster.
Yeah. The Eagles. It's the Eagles. Beat the Eels
Eagle Rock.
32-18.
Come on, Manly.
Will the Eels win a game before Mitch Moses gets back?
They
I don't
already
think
did.
so.
They won last week.
They did, didn't they? I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
surprised.
They won last week.
Now the Tigers versus the Broncos. Broncos win 34 points to 10.
As expected.
Adam Reynolds back. Goes down with cramp.
Yep.
I think it was Vossi on commentary. West were attacking right
The
to
legend.
left. Oh, the legend.
Middle of Vossi.
Attacking right to left, West were. He was basically saying they have to run at Reynolds. He can't move.
He
He
was
can't do
hobbling,
anything. He couldn't walk. He was on the floor getting cramp. He managed to get back into the line. And then just dives out of the line to take an interception. Unbelievable what that.
Why would you not just show and go?
I don't know. A guy can't move and you're trying to...
He was hugging the touchline because he couldn't move and he decided to pass it past him. Why don't you just show and go?
I don't know. I really, really don't know.
Oh, whatever.
The Panthers, another win.
Reece Walsh scored a try backing up through the middle and then stole Cruz Lehman's celebration. After scoring his try method, he stole his celebration as well.
The Panthers, Nathan Cleary was back for him.
Yep.
26 points to 20 over the Cowboys. Bit of a better performance for the Cowboys, but
The Cowboys come back in it really well in the second half.
I just don't think they're tough enough. I don't think they do the hard stuff well enough. The Finns, they lose to Kai Pearce-Paul's Knights, who win 18 points to 14 without Kalen Ponga.
Yeah, no KP.
He's got the same injury as Luke Thompson had, didn't he? A lateral fracture or something of the foot. Apparently, it's really bad.
Oh, that's so he's out for some while then.
Well, it's one of them that it could be 8 weeks, but if the surgery and the healing doesn't go right, it can be like Thompson's, where it affected him for like 18 months.
Right, okay.
We don't need that, do we? Ponga's so exciting.
Yeah, and you got Pong on your TV.
The thing is, as well, would he be playing in Origin? He'd be in the conversation. I don't know.
I would have him in the 14 over Ben Hunt.
Walsh would have the jersey.
I'd have him at 14 over Ben Hunt.
Ben Hunt, and what, you have Harry Grant at 9?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, Morgan Smithy's Raiders.
He was chasing shadows.
Yeah, the Sharkies, very, very impressive. 40 points to 0.
Nico Hines ran the show. Cam McInnes, after he was interviewed after the game, he looked so funny. His eye was busted. He had his teeth were out because he could take his teeth out. I think he had a headband on. His nose looked like a mess. He's just so tough, him.
Yeah.
Matty John said he looked like Chucky. That's all he was just did.
Should we jump over to the predictions then?
Yeah.
Let's go for it.
We've not put out the tweet yet for. We've not put the tweet out yet for your fan predictions, but we'll start off with ours.
Yeah.
First game up, it's Wigan, so why not do it?
Wigan and Catalans.
Thursday night, Wigan versus Catalans. All of us are going to go Wigan.
Correct.
Please tell me you're all going Wigan.
Yeah.
Correct.
Anyone want to comment on where we think this game is won?
I'd like to see us throw some attacking shapes, like Lee did to them.
Yeah.
I think that's probably where they are at their weakest. And I'd like to see us toughen up a bit in defence.
Keep them under 10.
Yeah, I would keep them under, let's say, 16. Let's be generous.
Yeah, I'd say the same. We'll toughen up in defence. That's what we get back to what we know: defending well and playing off the back of your good defence.
Yeah. Now, if this result in the next game goes a certain way, Leeds, London may, if London pull off a win, see Roland Smith sacked.
Yeah.
I don't think they will. I'm going to go Leeds. I'll take the punt on that one and
I think it's
predict
a
Leeds.
safe
Yeah, I think everyone's going Leeds. aren't they?
Leeds Rhinos.
We mentioned it
They're
before.
bad, but they're not that bad.
I don't think there's any way that it can improve Leeds' morale.
No,
No.
But
They just have to win.
It's the manner of the victory.
Yeah.
Can you be solid? Nil. Not concede points. All them
it's
things.
interesting because we gave London a bit of credit for pushing Salford close, and they pushed Hull close, but nothing against Cass. So I can't work London out at all. Maybe they just,
I wonder whether them teams have rested a couple
I don't know.
going to London where Cass know they need to win it.
It was at Cass as well. To be fair,
Now a game I'm really looking forward to watching. Friday night, it'll be the one that I watch. Huddersfield, Salford.
oh, that is a good game.
At
That
Huddersfield.
Ian Watson derby.
Tasty.
The Ian Watson derby.
These two teams don't like each other for the reason of Ian Watson.
Now, if Huddersfield win, they'll go into 6, depending on how many Leeds win by and all that different stuff. On points difference, Salford win, that'll take them to 14 points.
Wow, you wouldn't have seen that coming.
If Huddersfield and Leeds win, that'll mean up to 8. We'll be on 12 points or more.
I'm going to go for Huddersfield to win. Yeah, I think last week we'll have taken a lot out of Salford. Emotional victory like that, and I think Huddersfield will have just enough. But I am really looking forward to this game. This is the closest one to call for me.
Yeah, no, I agree with Matty. I'm going to go Huddersfield as well. I think just for the way of, I know you're laughing at me because I always tend to. Do you know what that means now? Then
No,
that
because
means-
he wants to pick Huddersfield as well, but we picked all the same last week.
Well, I know. Well, you know what's going to happen. What's going to happen now is, Dukes, you should know this because I've gone first and I've backed Huddersfield, which means that Salford are going to win. So if you back Salford now, you get an easy point on your prediction scoreboard.
What are we doing on the predictions?
No, you know what?
I've
You
not
know
said
what?
it for
You
a
know what?
while.
I am with Salford.
Well, I've not said it for a while, but where are we with the predictions? Dukes is 37. Me and you, Lewis, tied on 39.
Probably because we keep on picking same.
The listeners have got 43.
Oh, listeners are battering.
They keep picking the favourites.
We keep trying to make it interesting.
Make it interesting.
Yeah, I'm going to go Huddersfield though. I think, like you said, Matty, I think it was a very close game. They'll be very disappointed they didn't come away with the victory, and I think they want to put that right straight away against Salford.
I agree.
So I think they've got more motivation to win this game than Salford, who's just come off a win at Warrington.
I'm going Salford.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
I know.
thought-
I think it's going to be close.
It's really close.
We should see the listeners go for
I
that
can't
one.
wait for this game.
No, this is going to be the game.
I actually
of
can't
the
wait
round.
for this one.
Well,
it
listen, Saturdays.
promises to be so good, this game.
Yeah. last game
Saturday looks good as well.
The last Friday game, Warrington Hull FC.
Yeah.
To make this a little bit interesting, I want a points range.
Warrington by 24 to 30.
Lewis?
I'll go Warrington by 18.
Warrington 30 points to 36. I think they'll try and put some points difference on.
One of us is probably going to be right.
Imagine if all
Let's be honest. We've got Warrington by
18 to 36. Probably, I know I said Huddersfield Salford, one of the games around. The other one, Saturday, Hull KR St Helens. I am going to go St Helens. I think Hull KR put so much into winning.
They did.
I don't think they can perform that way.
But Saints, they didn't look great against Huddersfield.
I think Saints need to put in a performance.
Oh, give me Hull KR. Was it? Lewis is yawning.
I thought you were in shock.
I
then.
thought you were shocked
It
at
was
my
a bit of both. I was
choice.
shocked, and then I got a mid yawn, caught me.
Oh, give me Hull KR. I hope I don't regret that. But go on, I'm going for Hull KR.
Yeah, I'm going to go Saints for this series, and you said, Tom, I think, okay, I've had the cup final against us last week. I think it's going to be able to back up that with another big performance against Saints. So
Oh, it will, yeah.
I'm going to go for Saint Helens.
Right. Sunday, Leavers Castleford. A really important game. Whoever of this will go on to 6 points and probably join the top 8 in the competition. The teams that loses will stick on 4 and probably be cut adrift at the bottom.
Yeah.
The bottom 3.
You gained a place on everyone last week for picking Lee. I can't imagine you're going to gain any places for picking Lee this time because I think
Someone must back Castleford.
no, I don't think someone's backing Castleford. I
I'm
don't want
going
to pick.
Lee.
I don't
You
want to
going
pick for Lewis, but I'm definitely not backing Castleford.
No, I'm going to go.
So we're all going Lee.
Lee, and I think the listeners will go for Lee as well.
I would be surprised if they didn't. Right, just before we go, it's always fun to mention the rest of the Wigan setup. Obviously, the men's first team lost.
We spoke about that for half an hour.
We
Before.
talked about that. But
If you're listening to this bit, you didn't hear that bit, then
go back.
go back to the beginning.
You missed the best bit.
It's pretty much the reason why we do this podcast.
The men's first team result.
I felt like it was worth mentioning.
We don't need to mention that.
The women's first team beat Featherstone 54 points to 12.
Yeah.
Really good win there. The men's reserve team didn't play.
So that's two for two in Super League now for the women.
The men's academy won 50 points to 4 away at Hull KR.
Yeah.
The wheelchair first team won their Challenge Cup game 70 points to 32 against the Halifax Panthers.
They're into semi-final now.
Yeah, it's the semi-final of the Challenge Cup. It'd be a good thing to watch. Get down and
Yeah.
watch them. The wheelchair reserves had a very close game against the North Wales Crusaders.
Yeah. This was a
In a-
friendly, this one.
In a friendly, they lose 20 points to 18. Now, the women's academy didn't play and the scholars didn't play this week.
No.
But
It's-
keep looking out for them updates.
It's
will we?
tough because they don't. Not every team puts out every team. So you know what I mean. Not every club puts out every team. So sometimes they don't have a game.
Yeah, I think that's the aim for every club in Super League should be to,
That'd be nice.
in the long-term success of the game, to have a club. You can see what the Premier League do. They have every club has a women's team, a women's reserve team, a men's whatever.
Well, I don't
men's-
think they all do, but they should.
It's getting that way.
It's getting that way, yeah.
And that's what we've got to carry on doing.
I've seen a lot more women's teams this year, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Castleford got a women's team now. Who else were they playing against? Oh, I can't remember.
Have Lee introduced it or did they introduce
Maybe
it last year?
Bradford or Lee introduced
Lee
one
was
last
last
year.
year, Lee
There's lots more
introduced
teams introducing one. I think Wakefield might have introduced one. I can't remember. Anyway, a few more championship clubs are getting the ladies' teams and women's teams in there, so that's good to see.
Yeah, big time. Right. I think that wraps it up, lads.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed.
Thank you for joining. It's been a pleasure as always.
Yep.
Nice to be back.
Hopefully this time next week we're talking about a better Wigan result.
I hope so.
Hopefully so.
Right. See you next week. Thank you for listening. Hi, I'm Tom.
I'm Matty.
And I'm Lewis.
This is the Wigan Way, Wigan's favourite rugby league podcast.
He'll put you in his trap, 'cause he's a